Hey everyone, Scott here to discuss Resident Evil. Welcome to Raccoon City. Starring Kea Scodelario, Robbie Amell, Hannah John Kamen, Hopper, Avon Carta, forgive me if I said that wrong, Donald Logue, and Neil McDonough, played by Johannes Roberts. Now, before I get into this movie, I've only seen it the one time, and there's a reason for this one. Well, let me just get to it. I remember when I went to movie theaters for this thing, it hurt my ears so badly that I just wanted to run out of the fucking theater, just going, "Oh, give me my money back." And what do I think of the movie? Well, let's get into it. In a flashback, Claire and Chris Redfield are children that are living in the Raccoon City orphanage. Claire meets and befriends Lisa Trevor, a disfigured girl who has been experimented on by Dr. William Birkin, played by Neil McDonough, who is an employee for the Umbrella Corporation, as he oversees the orphanage and takes the children for his own experimental research, which is so stupid, while later Birkin takes Claire to experiment on her, who escapes, which was fucking convenient, but she couldn't take her brother, and I thought, really, with that storyline, it's so predictable. And we move on to 1998. This movie's going to be set in the 90s, by the way, folks. Claire, as an adult, played by Kea Scodelario, returns to Raccoon City hitchhiking in a semi-truck, as the driver is a fucking pervert. And I'm going to say this now. This casting choice in this is very miscast, as their characters don't have arcs. And I don't like any of them for that matter. While distracted, the truck driver hits a woman who is walking in the middle of the road. She's a zombie, and the script doesn't make any sense whatsoever. When Claire and the driver investigate, the woman disappears, leaving only a proof of blood behind. And I swear to God, this is bad writing to begin with, as there's so many fucking problems in this first 10 minutes. The truck driver's Doberman licks the blood and over time and begins to foam at the mouth and becomes erratic, which is a very doggy-like, I'll say. Meanwhile, Leon S. Kennedy, a rookie police officer played by Avon Jogia, forgive me if I said that wrong, wakes up for his first day with the Raccoon City Police Department. He goes to the town's diner where he falls asleep at the counter, and if I were asleep at a diner, I would be kicked right out the bat. And this is already bad writing. How could things be any worse? Jill Valentine, played by Hannah John Kamen, and Albert Wesker, played by Tom Hopper, who are also at the diner, wake Leon up as they leave. And this is a fucking comedy, because it feels like or is it like Aliens vs. Predator Requiem? As the shots were very super dark and hard to see, and it's pissing me off at this point. Leon notices that the dinner's owner has blood coming out from her eyes when a deformed crow crashes into the window. And how many times will this fucking movie try to scare me? And how many will it be? Many, many times, I'll say. And how many times has it been successful? Absolutely zero. Is this movie very loud? Hell yeah. And is it headache worthy? Abso-fucking-lutely. Claire heads to Chris's home, and Chris is played by Robbie Amell, where she picks the lock with her knife and enters. And can I say this again? Miscasting with Kea Scodelario, who's done better in the last Pirates of the Caribbean film and the Maze Runner trilogy than in here. Chris comes downstairs en route to the police station, and Claire explains that she returned to Raccoon City to warn Chris about the Umbrella Corporation, as the acting is much worse than previously. Hell, even Milla Jovovich would be embarrassed by this movie to begin with. She explains that she has contacted conspiracy theorist Ben Bertolucci, I don't know if I said that right, who claims that Umbrella has erroneously poisoned the city's water, which is nothing new. Meanwhile, a siren goes off informing citizens to stay in their homes, which they won't, and That's how bad this writing is. Chris leaves for the police station while Claire steals his motorbike, which I knew was coming as it was predictable. Before Claire leaves, a child breaks into the house running from his mother. Both have severe hair loss, are erratic and bloody, and I want to run out of the theater to instead of watch Encanto or House of Gucci, which came out that weekend for that matter. As the police station, the stars Alpha team meet Chief Brian Irons, played by Donald Logue, to discuss the recent events. Irons explains he doesn't know what is going on, but that Bravo team is missing while investigating a death at the Spencer Mansion, and I don't care at all as I'm checked out now big time, as this might be the worst movie I've seen in that year in theaters of that year. Alpha Teams is sent to the mansion to see that has happened. At the meeting, an unknown person pages Wesker to check his locker, which contains a PDA with instructions on it. And come on, it's that obvious he's the bad guy. If you've seen the previous movies or played the games, traveling a helicopter stars team find Bravo's team police car and follow tracks to the mansion. Inside, the team splits up with Wesker and Jill going upstairs, and how fucking convenient. There, Wesker secretly follows the map on his PDA and enters a secret code on a piano, revealing a secret passage. Jill then sees the helicopter crashing into the mansion after pilot Brad Vickers gets bitten by a zombie, and I thought, kill the motherfucker, don't save him. Afterwards, Wesker, it reveals that he has been hired to reveal secrets of Umbrella and will use the secret passage to steal Dr. Birkin's virus. And whenever I see Neil McDonough in a movie, I already know he's the bad guy from the very start of this movie. Wesker saves Jill from a zombie before leaving the team, and I thought, just betray him. This movie is already bad enough as it is. Meanwhile, Chris and Richard Aiken encounter zombies eating the bodies of Bravo team. Richard is eaten while Chris battles the horde, with Jill ultimately saving him as the pair flee the zombies, following Wesker into the secret passage, which serves him fucking right until during the credit scene, but I'll get there when I get there. Leon is asleep at the front desk of the police station, which is so stupid, as this is a terrible character to begin with when the truck driver, now bitten by his dog, begins to turn into a zombie and crashes his truck at the entrance at the station. Again, very stupid. Chief Irons shoots the flame zombie, awakening Leon, then announces he is leaving, putting Leon in charge, which makes no sense. Irons travels out of the city, but is stopped by Umbrella guards who shoot civilians who are trying to escape the city. And what kind of government shoots their own civilians? It makes no fucking sense. Returning to the station, Irons is attacked by Zombie Dog, but Claire rescues him and doesn't feel like a badass in this movie. Claire and Leon go down to the armory to secure supplies when Leon encounters Ben Bertolucci, forgive me if I said that wrong, who is imprisoned. And why is that? And I'm already baffled by this movie being made anyways. Ben steals Leon's gun, but a zombie inmate bites him before he is able to escape his cell. And I thought, give me a break. This guy should have been one of the survivors. Leon, Claire, and Irons then abandon the police station and travel to the orphanage looking for a secret umbrella tunnel in the building, and I still can't see shit at this point. While they encounter a liquor, which kills Irons, attacking Leon, but he is saved by Lisa, who is recognizing Claire and gives them the keys to the secret passage, which is once again way too convenient. Wesker, traveling through the passage, encounters Dr. Birkin, who is in the midst of securing his life's work. Birkin reaches for his gun, shooting Wesker in the chest before Wesker shoots Birkin, nearly killing him, but eventually comes back alive as a monster. And I have a headache from watching this movie at this point. Birkin's wife, Annette, then grabs the gun, but Wesker shoots her as well. Then Birkin's daughter, Sherry, grabbing the gun. Wesker hesitates to pull the trigger before being shot by Jill, And can I just say this about Hannah John Kamen? She was a badass in Ant-Man and the Wasp, but here it's a nothing kind of role. Chris rushes to Sherry and finds that William has injected himself with the G virus. Chris and Joe run from Birkin, who begins to mutate, and can it end better than this? As this movie is too long at an hour and 47 minutes, and 15 minutes could have been cut out of this movie. Claire and Leon then shoot Birkin, letting the 5 survivors escape to an underground train. That's shocking, by the way. The train is stopped when Raccoon City begins to be destroyed, allowing a fully mutated Birkin to attack the train, and it's getting very obnoxious. I just want this movie to be over. Leon shoots him with the rocket launcher, killing him, and others survive like Claire, Chris, Leon, and Jill, and the credits start rolling in a mid-credits scene. Wesker awakens in a body bag, unable to see anything until a figure then hands him his sunglasses and reveals herself as Ada Wong. And hopefully this will never continue because I don't want any more of what I saw in this movie. Now it's time for the rating. I'll give this movie a 1.0 out of 10. This is the worst movie I've seen in theaters all year long on the series, as these actors are very miscast in the roles they're in. The movie is very headache-worthy, as I was checked out 30 to 35 minutes into the movie. It's that bad, for these are terrible, terrible characters from the start. The script was already predictable and such a bad mess, and it's a very bad time at the movies. And I'm very glad it bombed, and I don't want to see any more of what I saw in this movie. So I'd like to thank you guys for joining me for this Resident Evil series, and until next time, game over.